Action.
All right, here we are, WESPN.
We are back.
We are back. It feels like we never left. This is a pretty quick episode here. We are a real estate first and pretty much only show. So if real estate's not your interest or your thing, you're tuned into the wrong show here. So we're going to break things down like we always do, and we're going to start with a market update. Scotty, what we got going on out there in the market?
Market's still hot on the buy side. I continue to lose offers weekly, so definitely still hot. And one of the interesting topics right now is basically what's driving the demand in the market. And I think everybody knows there's more buyers than sellers, but something that people don't think about is the amount of money that's been printed by the government over the past couple of years. I think it's somewhere in the range of 20 to 40% of the money ever created in Canada has been printed in the past 2 years.
Yeah.
20 to 40% of the money ever created in Canada has been printed in the past 2 years.
Yeah.
There is more money chasing the same amount of goods. And what's basically happening is when the government prints money, it makes the value of your money worth less. So it might seem like prices are going up, but in reality what's happening is your money's just not worth what it was a couple of years ago. So it's a confluence of factors, and I think most of the general public doesn't think about that. And that's one of the reasons we're seeing prices jump 20, 30, 35%.
Yeah.
In what, 2 months? I think we're up $150,000
It's crazy.
in 2 months, which is absolutely insane. But you have so much money chasing a limited supply of goods that this is what happens.
And you know what? We'll drop a link to if you want to learn more about this. Scott did a whole video on it. We'll drop the link right here, and you can go see that on his page where it goes a little bit more in depth. It's one of the you've done a lot of good videos this year, Scott.
Appreciate it.
That video is one of my favorite, though.
Yeah,
I shared that to multiple people, and just the way you explain things just makes sense. So.
Yeah, and again, most of the public isn't thinking this way, so we don't understand what's happening. And when you don't understand what's happening, you can't capitalize it if you have that investment mindset. Now, to counterbalance that, we have interest rates rising, right? And part of the reason they're doing that is to theoretically slow inflation. So they raise the rates a quarter point. Paul, what are your thoughts on that? Is it going to impact the market? Is it impacting the market as we speak?
So on the listing side, what I'm seeing in the past probably 3-4 weeks is that the showings have actually come down. The value, though, of what things are selling for hasn't changed. It's risen, if anything, right? So that hasn't decreased with the showings. I'm noticing an exit of the GTA agents. They're still here. There's still a lot of them here, but not as many as in January. January, I think we didn't know if interest rates were going up or not. There was a little bit of a frenzy out there. Now, properties are still getting multiple offers. We have not had a listing to this point where we didn't have meet the expectation of not only the market but the sellers, and again, every property we sell should be a record in our opinion, and that trend is continuing for us. So happy to report on that end. Two different spectrums of the market, always the buying and the listing side. So it's always interesting.
Yeah, I do think the long-term trend of Toronto buyers moving this way is still largely intact with the work-from-home economy and the fact that basically they can't buy in their own backyard ever for a large percentage of these buyers. I don't think that's going away anytime soon. There's different fluctuations. Paul, you were tuned in. Obviously, you're selling a lot of properties. You can feel real-time if there's a 2-week little lull here. Yeah. Not to say that that's going to be the case 2 or 3 weeks from now or come summertime. We don't know. But we're trying to report to you guys live, real time, what we're seeing out there. A little bit of an opportunity window at this time. We got March break coming up. Agents get busy. They plan trips. People are out of the market. Great time to be looking for an opportunity on the buy side, in my opinion. Yeah. Could be some less competition.
Having said that, on the listing side, we typically don't list during March break, so you won't see much action from us coming up this week and next. We've solidified all our sellers with great prices up to yesterday on George, where Dan got 800 plus on that property. We sold the duplex of ours as well, got a great price there. So that'll end our little story there, and we maybe an investment property coming up next week, but that's about it.
Yeah, we're gonna basically try to take the March break off for our clients. It's just not the best time to sell. Of course, if you have to sell for some reason at that time, it is what it is. You can make it work, but we try to avoid it. So, but on the buy side, I would suggest being active if you can get onto something. So
Yeah, but have the interest rates affected the market and the values? So far, no, not at all.
yeah, and people need to understand the difference between market deceleration and a market crash, right? If the market's going up less quickly, that's deceleration, but it's still going up.
Yeah.
And I think people get it confused when the market's not going up as fast as if it's going
So
down.
will there be a market correction at any point in time in this market? Although it feels like there will never be, it's inevitable. There will be a correction. A correction and a crash are two totally different things to talk about. I don't think there'll be a crash, but there'll definitely be a correction. Real estate is cyclical. It always has, and in my opinion, it always will be. And actually, investors want a correction to happen. And if that correction does happen, go on a shopping spree, because when real estate's on sale, we should all be buying it.
Yeah, I find what most people think is that they're mentally and emotionally prepared for a market crash or correction, whatever you want to call it. And then the market crash or correction comes and they do nothing because the emotions take over, and what they try to do is time the perfect bottom, and the perfect bottom never comes, and then you end up missing it. So I always try to like emotionally prepare myself now for if and when that does happen, whether in the stock market or real estate, so that when it does, I just act logically and rationally and continue to buy assets that produce returns, cash flow, and not get caught up in any of the hype. And what are the main takeaways here, Paul? How do you feel about timing the market or trying to time the market? Right, we talk about it all the time.
Well, listen, if the market has a little correction and there's a window to buy some real estate, I think you should. Speaking of windows, Scott, Preferred Windows and Doors is our sponsor this week, and what a sponsor that's absolutely close to our hearts here today.
Well, I know for me, when I look to buy windows and doors, I preferred windows and doors.
It's that simple. So Preferred Windows and Doors, local, family owned and operated. Actually, our very own chef Rebecca father is the owner of the company, which is fantastic. Home renovation business, a one-stop renovation shop handling all of your exterior needs, windows, doors, custom exteriors, and selling customers what they need, right? So there's no BS with them. It's just again, it continues our trend of good people bringing on to the show. As nice as these hoodies are, they are not in the clothing business. They are Preferred Windows and Doors. That's our sponsor this week.
Awesome.
Okay, going back to
back to market timing.
Sure.
This is our point. Don't try to time it. You can't. There's infinite variables at play all the time, and what's happening right now, I keep hearing about it. Interest rates. That's all I hear about. But yes, interest rates are a big factor, but what about the lack of supply and the high demand and the 450,000 immigrants a year? So and what about the government printing money? So these interplay of factors, there's too many of them to point and single out any one and think that you have an edge on the market. And those factors can change really quickly, because the government could theoretically come out 2 weeks from now and say, hey, the market's slowing, we gotta drop interest rates to 2.25 again. So you can't predict what the government's going to do. You can't predict their policies. You can't predict every possible variable. Buy cash flowing real estate in any market. That's my advice.
On the listing side right now, I mean, great time to list. It's a heavy seller's market. You know, talking to Chantel and Katrina today on the buying side right now, people are getting frustrated. The people that could buy something in January are now priced out of the market. It's pretty, we work hard for these buyers, and to give them this news sometimes is not our favorite part of the job. So, but you got to stick with them, and there's new normals every other week, every month, and these buyers are unfortunately at the mercy of, just like we all are. We're all at the mercy of the market. So.
Yeah, the market unfortunately doesn't care about our feelings and emotions. Not to minimize them by any means. Yeah. There are ways to adapt, though, right? I have buyers right now that we're looking out in the county. And we're out, instead of Windsor, we're out in Amherst.
What's going on in the county?
I mean, it's, I think the gap, it used to be a pretty big spread between prices.
Yeah.
Same product in Windsor, 100K cheaper in Amherst, for instance. I'm seeing that gap close, but there still is a decent gap. I don't know, if you had to throw a number at Amherstburg versus Windsor, if you had to, is it a $50,000 gap? Like what, anecdotally, obviously you don't have.
You know what, I always compare LaSalle to Tecumseh, Amherstburg to Lakeshore, Bell River area. I mean, we had a listing in Bell River last week, performed well, got a great price there. So I think the people aren't aren't scared to go to the outskirts anymore. And you know what? Some of them actually prefer it.
Yeah, absolutely. Working from home doesn't really matter where you live. I'm seeing it all the time. Let's go to the county, get a little bit more space, more of a bang for your buck. But the gap is closing for sure, but it's still a little bit more value out in the county. If you can get something $50K cheaper out there for the same product, that's what buyers are doing right now. So,
and there's stuff out there that you just can't get here. The pole barns, the acreage, all that stuff. And never have I seen an appetite for that stuff. Like bigger than right now.
It's, multiple offers on every property, whether it's Essex, Harrow, Amherstburg, Comber. In my experience over the past few months, it's always been multiple offers. So less competitive, but still very competitive.
Yeah, real quick on the AWFU front, want to give the whole team their flowers here. I mean, February was unbelievable. Market's tough for buyers. Obviously, I said it's a seller's market, but we were able to put over, I think it was 31 or 32 families into homes last month, which that's pretty special to be able to serve that many people in 1 month and sell well over $20 million in real estate. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Record month for the team, and it's not about us though. It's about how many people we're able to help and serve.
Yeah, that 32 number is the most is definitely the most special one. And we're launching a new way to market properties with For You property tours. We wanted to have Eric on the show to explain it all, but he declined.
He's just too
no,
important.
Just joke. We're going to have Eric on the show soon. Eric's our creative director, and he's got a lot to say and a big vision here. And I mean, we're just starting it off with For You Property Tours, which is a more interactive video style of shooting the homes. We just started with the listing on summer, and we're going to continue that forward. We're going to push the needle here with our marketing and our content, and because we have the right people who are doing it. So.
Absolutely. When it comes to selling a house, I mean, marketing is it's massive, it's huge, and we're trying to be at the leading edge of that.
I think we're getting to a point where, and I don't want to sound cocky, but it's just like I feel like we do it. We're one of the best to do it. In the city and surrounding areas. I'm just going to throw it out there.
I think Windsor's been lacking this kind of trailblazer vibe, or somebody to come in and do things different, take the big city vibe and bring it here. So I think we were the first, and driven by some great people like Eric and the rest of the team. And and we're going to keep innovating, right? It's not like, hey, we're going to keep doing the same thing. It's always on to the next trend, on to the next hot thing, and getting those properties marketed properly, because people enjoy entertaining videos, and it's, I mean, how much attraction did we get on that summer video, right?
I wish Eric was on the show so he could tell us, but it's I mean, there's no doubt in my mind people watch the videos more. That's the whole reason to do it. I think when people are in the videos more and throughout the whole video, the views just go up, and that's what we want for our sellers, right?
I mean, how many people are introduced to that property from our Instagram feed or our Facebook page that wouldn't necessarily be on MLS, right? So
shared by a friend or just hits their algorithm.
Possibly thousands of people, and you might catch that one buyer that you need. So that exposure is huge, and they're not going to watch it if it's not well done, if it's not entertaining. So that's what we're trying to bring to the market. Yeah. And I think we're knocking it out of the park. But Eric will tell you about that, when he has time to hop on the show. So.
Love it. All jokes aside, guys, thanks for watching. And until next time, we'll see you then. Thanks.
Good job, guys.
All right.